Okay guys, so we've got the aluminium bed plate, B10 CNC part, that clips on underneath. And then the screw packet took me a while to find, but the hot bed screws, they were found in the same box as the machine, as the main board blocks. So just go look at them, it's a bunch of wheels and it's the ones with, there's a bunch of wheels, shims, some springs. So grab those. And we will move on. Okay, so for this you're going to need the 4 wheels, 2 spacers, 4 M525 screws, 2 eccentric nuts, 4 nylock nuts, and the 4 shims. So for the wheels, you're going to put the screw through, put a brass shim on, and then your eccentric nut. That's 1. For these two, goes that brass shim, spacer. Brass shim, spacer. You're going to grab your aluminium bed plate. I don't believe that some wrap on here. Okay, so you're going to take your eccentric nut wheels, put the eccentric nut through the larger hole. Okay, so you want to put your eccentric nuts through the larger holes. Some they can be a bit tight because of the anodizing. Just take a hammer or so and tap them in there and then move them around with a bolt. Then you want to grab your wheels. Make sure that brass shim is in between there. The nylock nut. Problem with these screws, they're a bit short. So what you want to do is you want to take the nylock and put it on backwards. That's what I have to do. And you want to do the same with the other wheel. Through there. No, I'm putting them on the regular way. I definitely recommend putting them on that way, with the nylon going on first, just because they stick a bit better, but I don't have any tools to get them on at the moment, so the regular way it is. Okay, and your wheels should spin freely. Same thing with the wheels with the spacers. Make sure the spacers are the brass shim between the wheel and the spacer, and the nylock nut. Get those tighten. Next thing you want to get this piece here, CNC what CNC was it? CNC B10. And inside the hotbed screw package, there should be 2 small flathead screws. Okay, now this side, this one is, it goes on the same side as the wheel, and you want the belt, you want the long thin part facing the inside, like that. So you put your screws through the top. And you definitely want it facing like that. You want to tighten these just so it doesn't move, because you're probably going to take it off when you touch the belt anyway. So that's what your finished bed should look like. For this one we will need our Y-axis, the CNC B1, so we've got B2 screws, B1 screw packet, CNC B2 and CNC B1. Okay. First part you want to grab is this guy here. As far as I know, it's B1. So you want the B1 package. At this point you have to decide which is the front of your 3D printer. It doesn't make a difference, it's perfectly symmetrical, so we'll go with this side. Okay, you want to pull them all out. Take the 4. The thing is, this doesn't have any recesses, so you can put the screws in either side. There we go. We'll grab the wheel, screw through, shim, brush shim, and then the bolt. Screw it all up against there. You want to loosen it off just so that this thing can spin freely. And then screw it in. Now what you'll notice is that it's a bit tight. You want to loosen it. So you'll notice that this wheel doesn't turn. You just want to loosen this off a bit, just as it starts to turn a little bit more. And then what you want to do is you want to grab, ideally you want a little spanner or something, just even with the Allen key. You just want to loosen this guy till it stops moving, and then re-tighten that screw, and you'll see it spins nice and freely. So just again, loosen that off, tighten the bolt, tighten that back, nice and freely. You'll have this spacer left over. Honestly, I don't know what it's for. It's not mentioned in the manual. and that seems to work perfectly fine. Okay, so you want to grab your bed plate, and inside the toolkit there's a little wrench. You want to make sure these eccentric nuts have the wheels at their furthest, most outward position. As you can see, the brushing should be further pointing away. Okay, then if that's the front of your 3D printer, you want the belt clip on the bed to be on the right hand side. And then you just slide your bed on like that. It should run nice and smoothly. Then you want to flip it over. Grab your other CNC piece. I believe this is B2. So we need B2's package. B2's package just has 4 screws. You want to put them in. And just like before, make sure the screws are nice and tight. There we go. Now we're going to move on to mounting the wire motor. First things we need the brackets. So this is B13 and B13's screw bag. And we need B16 as well. And also a step motor. First thing you want to do is mount the step motor to your bracket. Okay, now it goes on at a slightly 45-degree angle. At this point, you're going to want to decide which way your wires for the Y-axis motor. So I'm going to have my control box to the right of the printer. So I'm actually going to have it coming out the back to the right. And then you just want to take the M38 as far as I know. Grab the right screw. Give them a good, just tight enough to hold them in there. Okay, so we're going like that. So my wires will come out the back right. Next you want to do, you want to mount this bracket. M4 12s through the top. Your T-nuts. Like so. So that gives you the belt tightening adjustment. Before you mount the motor to the frame, you just want to take your little pulley, loosen off the grub screws, and slide it on just enough so I generally like to have it so that the top of the axle is flush with the top of the pulley. And if you can see there's a flat side on the shaft. You want to line up the first grub screw with that flat part. Tighten in the second one. Just tighten it to hold. You don't want to strip the grub screws. And you place your wire motor, you make sure your T-nuts are aligned. Place them in. You want to line up the bottom bracket with the edge of the CNC here. And then just loosen them off and hopefully it bites. There we go. Same thing on the other side. Tighten up nice and tight. You want to make sure that your wire, the motor mount, is fully forward, so that when you put the belt on, you do have that half centimeter or so to tighten the belt. And the belt is what we'll put on next. Here we have the bag with the, it's got some cable ties and a whole bunch of belts. Found these were in the main board box as well. So what you're going to have is you're going to have two long pieces, long single pieces, and then you're going to have a circular piece. That's for the Z-axis. We'll put that aside. One of these is for the X-axis, one of them is for the Y-axis, so they should be relatively the same length. Let's see, they're the same length, so you can choose one or the other. For this part, not following what the manual says, because I'm trying to make life easier. You want to unscrew these screws here. So you grab your belt clip, and if you think about it, you want the flat part over here with the holes in it to be on the inside of towards the inside of the bed plate, and also so you're going to having this part here come off. You want the teeth, so you want to put it inside this way with the teeth facing there, so it meshes like that. Cable tie on, make sure the teeth all line up, and you want to pull your cable tie nice and tight, trim off the end. Okay, so that's the first side done. So you want the teeth to be facing as if it would be mounted like that. You want the teeth to be facing on the inside. Move the bed out the way. You're not going to be able to see me do this, but you want to loop it around the motor shaft like that. Pull this guy all the way through here. Take this guy, this end. Make sure you keep the teeth facing towards the center. Thread it under the build, the Y-axis plate, around the pulley. Oh, let me just get this in the shot. Around the pulley and back. Okay, so once you've got it threaded through, make sure it stays on the motor, make sure it stays on this pulley, and you want to make sure the teeth stay facing on the inside, and you want to just pull it tight. Doesn't have to be perfectly tight because you can still adjust it here, but reasonably tight and tensioned. And you want to make sure got that set up. Grab your cable tie. cut it off. You probably want to leave that there for now, just in case you have to change anything. As you can see, that pulley runs smoothly. You just want to double check. If you look down there, don't know if you can see it, but down at this side of the motor, you just want to line up down there and make sure that the belt is perfectly straight. Which it seems like it's fine. So yes, put in the push sheet, the pulley flush with the motor mount. Top of the motor mount needs to be the right measurement. So after knowing that this is tension fine, I'm just going to cut that off, cut this little guy off. Then you want to reattach this to the grab your 2 screws. Well, one at a time. You want to find should line it up with the holes. Get nice and tight. Loosen this guy off a bit. Okay, there we go. There's your y-axis. Okay, now those belts are reasonably tight, but if we wanted to tighten them, we have got the space on the Y motor mount to slide it back. And that should be your, it should slide nice and smooth. One thing we can do, you just want to, I don't know if you can see it in there, but as that moves up and down, you just want to make sure that these, put your thumb on there and make sure these wheels are spinning. These seem a bit loose. And if they are a bit loose, just take your wrench, just turn it a bit. Nice and tight. We'll do the other one as well. There we go. So that should move nice and smoothly.